My fiancé invited his ex-girlfriend to our wedding in secret. After she turned him down, I found out he had 5 fake social media accounts to watch her and was crazy about the fact that she stayed pure. I'm 23 years old and getting married in January. I just found out that my fiancé Mark, 25 years old fake name, asked his ex-girlfriend to our wedding without telling me first. To give you some background, Mark and I met on a dating app 2 years ago, after he broke up with someone. To be honest, I don't understand what he and Tracy 22F had. They started to like each other after meeting through a friend they both had. It was more than just company, Mark told me. They never went on dates or slept together. He still keeps her gifts and love letters and talks about her. Tracy and him tried to stay in touch as friends after they broke up, but she ghosted him when she found out we were dating. I saw on her social media that she's in a relationship, so I don't think she'll try to get back together with my fiancé. 2 years have passed since they last talked. He still has her email address and phone number though. I found out that he had invited her when I looked over our guest list again and saw her name. Tracy isn't a threat to our relationship, but Mark's plan to invite her without telling me makes me feel bad about our wedding. While telling me he doesn't feel anything for her, he still made sure to invite her. My fear that he won't get over her is slowly taking over. I know this is just me being anxious. I do not want to lose him. If OPP responded to commenter 1, he's probably still not over her. Especially since they never existed. She could be the one that got away for him. If I were OP, I'd talk to him about some very important things. Wow, I don't understand why he's still not over her if they never were together. Mark told me that he didn't want a relationship because Tracy had just put her first child together. He also went behind your back to invite someone whose love letters he has kept. The fact that he didn't tell you about it is if having her there is more important to him than you being happy at your own wedding, you might want to put it off. While she may not be a threat to your relationship, it sounds like the way she feels about you is. I don't understand why he is still interested in her after 2 years of not talking to her. Tracy is a part of his life and past, but it's been so long. Commenter 3, tell him you don't want her there, and that's it. He needs to take back what he said. Or you might have to rethink getting married, since going behind your back is not a good way to start a married life. PBH, you shouldn't hold on to someone you don't trust, and someone who does crap behind your back isn't someone you can trust. Oh no. Since I know she won't do anything, her going to the wedding doesn't bother me. What's wrong is that my fiancé asked her to the wedding without telling me first. Sure. Mark could have her there. Oh, I hate that he didn't tell me ahead of time. It makes me think he lied about being over her. Commenter 4. Tell me again why you think she won't do anything. You shouldn't get married if you don't trust him not to do anything with an ex-girlfriend. Out of the box. Tracy has a boyfriend and is going to have a baby. For the record, she blocked him everywhere when she found out we were dating. Update 1 October 19, 2024. It finally made sense to me that Mark never really got over Tracy after reading the comments and talking to some friends. Early on, I didn't believe what was going on, but I went out with Tom, 24M, his best friend of years, to find out the truth. From what he told me, Tracy and Mark met through friends they both had. It was her first year of college, and she was 17 years old. While Mark was almost done with school. After being friends for 2 years, feelings began to grow between them. They sent each other love letters, gifts, and spent almost every holiday together, but Mark was already working while she was in college. He wanted to date her officially after she graduated, so they never went out together. Tom told me that all of their old friends thought they were going to get married because they were so nice to each other. So, their split was a big surprise. Tracy broke up with Mark because their faith beliefs did not match up. To save herself until she got married. In the end, they chose to go their different ways. They might try again in a few years. But once Mark and I started going out on dates, Tracy saw no reason to wait for him and started going out with other people too. To start over, she blocked all of her contacts except email. I finally understood that Mark is just hoping Tracy will come back to him because they had talked about trying again later. I loved him so much that it really hurt so much. I still haven't talked to him about it because I'm still upset, but I don't think this marriage will happen. I'll let you know when I calm down and talk to him about it. Change 2 October 25, 2024. If you haven't heard anything in a while, I'm here to tell you that the wedding has been canceled. Everything is being canceled for me by my parents. It's like I'm back in childhood, when my parents had to solve my issues. After talking to Tom, I went up to Mark and told him everything I've been going through. At first, he talked over her, and it seemed like he was trying to get away from the situation. Mark said at the end that he had never loved someone so much because it was so pure and honest. She told him that life isn't all about sexual drive, and Tracy was like a light in the darkest times of his life. It hurts so much to hear the man you love say how much he loved someone else. I started to cry and bawl my eyes out during the talk. That's right, Mark told me he loves me, but it's not the same love. When I asked him why he invited her to our wedding, he couldn't say a word. Why he had to give up our future for something that happened in the past. It hurts so much. Mark told me that he knew Tracy hadn't stopped him on email because he helped her get her first job and did a lot of work during that time. He sent her our wedding invitation this way, but he didn't mean any harm. Mark told me he wanted her to see us together and understand what she lost because he was upset that Tracy was pregnant and not married. As soon as Mark told me that Tracy was pregnant, a red warning went off in my head. How did you know she was going to be pregnant? You said she blocked your way everywhere. As he began to stutter, I could see fear in his eyes. Last but not least, I asked him to give me his phone, and I found more than 5 ways to stalk Tracy. I was sick to my stomach and really wanted to throw up. I finally chose to back out of the engagement because he was a creep. Mark fell to the ground and begged for forgiveness. He says, "I love you, but not in the same way that Tracy does." He was hurt that Tracy slept with someone else while he begged her for sex many times. This made me hate him even more because he thought he had the right to her body and innocence. I left without even a bag. It's all too much. I can't believe I loved a creeper and a man-child for 2 years. I also told Tracy everything and all of his stories. I hope she got my texts, but I don't know if she did. The lust I had for her turned into sadness because Mark has caused no woman to go through what she has. Mark wants to hang out with me and doesn't want to break up with me, but I'm really tired. Change 3 October 26, 2024. I think this is the last report because I already talked about what happened with Tracy. When we first met at a coffee shop, I was very nervous because I didn't know how she would respond since her only answer was, "Let's talk over a cup of coffee." While I was waiting for her, I could feel a lot of emotion in my body. When Tracy showed up, I finally knew why Mark was so crazy about her. She is one of the most beautiful women I've ever seen. The pictures of her are pretty, but I think she looks better in real life. She asked me if I would be interested in meeting her at her house to talk. She gets very tired after being outside for a long time. It was really strange when we ordered coffee to go. Let's talk about what she told me now. She first said she was sorry for being the reason I'm single now, but I told her it wasn't her fault. Tracy said she got the invitation, but she didn't want to come to our wedding because she was already in a happy relationship and didn't see any reason to see someone from the past. Based on what Tom and Mark told me, I became interested in whether or not they would stay friends. It sounded like she wanted to stay with him after the breakup, which is the exact opposite of what she did. Tracy felt very awkward when I asked her that question, but she still told me why she said what she did. Mark was her first love, so she was really in love with him at first. She said he was a defender, someone she could trust, good-looking, and kind, because he always gave her gifts and took her on trips. Mark kept begging her to have sex, and she would lie about being sick to avoid him. At first, everything was fine and adorable. The thought of sleeping with him made her feel blocked, like a sixth sense was telling her not to do it. She was sick and tired of everything, and she used the fact that her parents are very religious as an excuse for having sex all the time. They got into a fight, which Mark never told me about, and broke up. So after 2 weeks they started talking again. She felt like she owed him a lot because he helped her get a job at a well-known company and bought her lots of gifts, food, and trips. For her 18th birthday he gave her a Rolex, which made me mad because he had never spent so much money on me before. Tracy was pleased when she found out that Mark and I were seeing each other. She finally had a good reason to block him everywhere, since he kept hints that they might sleep together. At the end, I told her that Mark would sometimes talk about her during the whole relationship. At first it was strange. I didn't think much of it because she was part of his story. Also, I told her about Mark's many accounts. At first she didn't believe me, but I showed her the accounts I knew about. It was creepy because they all had female names, pictures, and fans. They all looked real. Because her account is open to everyone, I asked Tracy to hide it. Then she made a new account with her Korean name and shut down the old one. We had a good time and became friends. I saw her boyfriend treat her like a queen, and she is a very nice person. I'm glad she found love and broke up with Mark. Leave comments where Up has answered. Commenter 1. It sounds like everyone got away from Mark's bullet. It wasn't a bullet after all. It looked like a nuclear bomb too. I really hope she does something about Mark's following her. The things he's been doing are very scary. I really feel bad for this woman. He can't do anything good because he's become obsessed. Especially if he goes crazy after you break up with him. Commenter 3. I'm glad you told her. A scary number of pregnant women who have crazy stalkers are killed. I can't even begin to think about how awkward, bad, and hard that whole talk and situation must have been for you. I think it's great that you talked to her and showed her all of their accounts so she could stay safe and know everything. You now know that you did everything you could to protect another weak woman, no matter what she does or what happens. That says a lot about your character, attitude, and general class and grace. You will find an amazing person who loves you deeply and shares your positive, respectful, and character-driven vibe. I know you'll smile. I hope you write an update about being deeply in love and very happy after 3 years. Next story, smile. My husband and I agreed to go out with a friend as a trio. He got angry because I was having too much fun and stormed out during it. We've been married for 3 years and together for 8 years. We have fun with our sex lives and had a great friendship with someone. We've been talking about making the relationship more open so that we can do things together for the past month and a half. I've only known him, but he's been through other things. We have very close friends who have been friends for a long time and have always had open relationships. Our female friend and I are talking about doing something together. People have been telling us for a long time that we only want this to be physical and not mental. We made rules and agreed that if we go ahead with this, we will be very open and talk about everything. We've talked about it a lot and agreed that we want to go ahead with this. Since we live in different states, we'll have to plan a get-together one of these days. Yesterday we took a trip to see family and friends. I think it will just be a friendly get-together today since he didn't say anything about doing anything with those people. Around 10:30 p.m., he told me he wanted to do something with her. Soon after, she pulled me to the side to tell me that my husband had told her that. At first, I didn't want to be a part of it because 1, he didn't say it was a 3-way, and 2, I was tired. After some truth or dare games, I finally joined in, and it was great. I quickly took a shower and got ready while they kept going on their own. When I got back, he was off, and they were waiting for me. We kept going, and it was really fun. After I got off, he just stood there and looked at us. We asked him to come over, but he didn't, so he left the house. I quickly got dressed with a friend, and the 2 of us ran out to follow. He was talking about how uncomfortable and angry he was, and how it was ruining his whole mood. We asked our friend to give us room, but I won't go into too much detail. My husband basically told our friend that he didn't like seeing me in that situation, and that the sex was wrong. It was already 2 a.m., and I didn't want to look crazy fighting outside, so I told him we could keep going inside after some back and forth. He said he felt bad when he saw that she was making fun of me while I was having fun. He didn't say anything, so it built up inside him. He just left. I was trying to understand and talk more about this at first until my friend told me that they had already talked about it and she thought he would be okay. I didn't understand what was going on because I thought this was something late at night. He told her I knew about this for a month while chatting and talking to her about it. She was very honest with me. She gave me her phone and showed me all the texts and messages where she says again that she thinks I need to be told or made aware of it in order to be okay with it. I always told her I was okay with it. This is where everything went bad. He told us all lies. He has kept things from me. And what's worse is that he said or did things in a way that makes me agree with what he said. It was very serious and stern when I told him in front of our friends that what he did was against all the rules we set. I even learned that he came in during this. We fought all night long until 6 a.m. I really don't think we can get back on track. Because he lies and puts the blame on me all the time, it's not about the sex. As I tore him a new one, he told me all of his mistakes and didn't make any excuses. It was clear to him that this wouldn't be a problem since I agreed to go with him. He also said the sex was unfair because I felt like I was getting extra attention while he wasn't. He was already done by the time I got involved. Since I was having sex with him, everything led to him acting out. He only asked that I let him have fun, but he won't let me have fun too. Back to our home state he went, and I'll be here for another 2 weeks. I've been going back and forth between being sad, angry, and nothing. That's okay if this isn't very clear or has too few details. This is the first time I've ever written a post this long. I can give you more information and ask you questions. He did this because he felt insecure. But I'd like some tips on how to talk to him about it, and find out why he really thought it would be okay. How should I go about this? What can I do to show him that what he did was wrong? Comment where Op replied, Commenter 1, I get that. But if it's meant to be a trio, you'd think she'd say, wait a minute, let's wait for her. She did. Oop. She kept asking me to come over, and talking me through any worries I had. We trust each other completely and are very close friends. He told her over and over that I knew, so she didn't push too hard. In all of her texts, she always talked about me and how I should know. I understand that. But if it was meant to be a trio, you'd think she'd say, wait a minute, let's wait for her. It's possible that he lied to her about that too. Commenter 3. But don't worry, she wants us to start while she gets ready. That's a good chance. The plan was for there to be 3 of them. So this still seems strange to me. We had planned to go out as a trio, but he asked to go out alone without telling me. If he had been honest with me, I really wouldn't have cared about anything. Skeptical Commenter 4. If you and she are such good friends, why hadn't she talked to you about the texts at all in the past month? Wow, we're all really close friends who trust each other completely. I would ask her what kind of seeds she likes if she told me tomorrow that she is a bird. He kept telling her things were okay and then took advantage of her trust, even if they could figure this out. I doubt their friendship with him would stay clean. I just wanted to give you some more information. On the first, I told him to go to therapy. Before he could get some lessons in, I wouldn't do anything or talk to him. In this way, I can enjoy time with friends and family while also taking some time for myself. Another friend of ours says that he has already signed up for some classes and is now just waiting for an appointment. If you ask me, I don't care about sex or the act of having sex. I only care about him. There's no need for it in my life, but I love my husband and want to hit it with him. 3. He told me over and over again for weeks that he agreed with me. We get our nuts and go. It's clear that he lied about that too. 4. My friend didn't know he went in until I came back and he said it. We were both shocked. She is now on BC and has been cleaned out as much as is reasonable. 5. I yelled at him nonstop for about 4 hours and tore him a new one. That being said, I'm not sure if he really knows what he did. I really don't care about the sex or texting if he only tells me about it. 6. My friends and I trust each other a million times over. People would make me soups and drinks if he told them I was sick. They wouldn't even ask me directly. He told her over and over that I was fine, even though I knew I wasn't. I will probably let you know if there is anything else. Thanks to everyone who replied. We had already talked about this with our friends, but not with him, and most of the things that were said below were brought up. But it's nice to see that other people feel the same way. Have a good night. Or day, everyone. Leave comments where Op has answered. Commenter 1. You were friendly with each other. Then they chose to end it by starting a good relationship. He was stupid and messed it up in his own way. Another stupid thing the Op did was stay with the other sex partner for 2 more weeks, which made things even worse. This will only make things worse between them. Your friend's house is where you should go to talk to your husband about the problem before going back to your own. You could also go stay with your parents instead of your friend to have more sex. Believe me, this will destroy you. You'll feel terrible about what you did, but it will be too late to change your mind. You can say that your husband is to blame for everything, and then use that to get what you want. But that will only fool yourself. Best of luck. I didn't stay with them though. My family and I stopped by to say hello while I was there. I've always wanted to have that kind of sex with him. He needs to see a doctor before we can talk. Because I found out more bad news. I want to get as low as he did.